Good afternoon, everybody. I'm checking to see that I'm not on mute. Yay, I got that part right. I can see myself on the camera. So thank you, everybody, for joining us. It is indeed a hair afternoon. Good to see some old friends here. Good to make some new friends. Super happy that everybody could join us today. It is my honor and duty to tell you a little bit about the Professional Development Consortium of Hampton Roads, glowing orb above my shoulder here. We are a non-for-profit educational organization devoted solely to providing leadership management and training, leadership and management education and training to folks who run membership associations. So typically professional societies, civic leagues, sororal and fraternal orders, alumni groups, the Society for Being Left-Handed in a Right-Handed World, whatever it is that people gather about, as long as they gather around a common community of interest or community of practice, PDCHR is here to help the leaders on that particular leadership journey. So, speaking of leadership journeys, it is my pleasure to introduce Dr. Kai Magee, who I've known for several years. Used to be down here with us in the Virginia Beach area. That's where we're coming to you from live today. I met Kai. She was running the local chapter of the International Council, or International, what is it? The coaches group, ICF, International Coaches.
International Coach Federation.
Yeah, the Federation. That's exactly what I meant to say. So yeah, so we met there. I was going through that chapter and stuff like that, and she moved on to some other really cool things now. So yeah, I've hit my 3-minute mark and then some. So with that, time for me to shut up and turn the floor over to Dr. Kai, who's got her mute button.
Thank you so much. I'm just so excited. I'm seeing so many faces. Hey, Walter. Hey, Deanie. And others, if I don't remember can't place the face with a name, please forgive me, but just, it's good to be, it feels like home. This is definitely where my journey started, and I'm happy to come back today and share a little bit of, especially around building teams. I've come to find that aligns so closely with the work that I do and my passion. Here we go. I'm bringing up my screen here. Can everyone see?
Looks good, Kai.
Outstanding. All right. So first, before we begin, I just want to thank Mark for this gracious invitation to be able to speak here with you, members of the Professional Development Consortium of Hampton Roads, this esteemed following. Greetings, everyone, and welcome. We are going to have a highly interactive session where we're going to use the Menti app, and we're going to share a few tips around success that will help enhance your experience. So one of the two options you'll have using the polling app is in the chat. Mark is providing the link in the that you will be able to link into. It should be able to take you directly to the slides, but for best results, make sure that you tab right on the link and open the link in the new window on your desktop. This will allow you to vote, to be able to see the results from the polls, as well as be able to participate in games in the question and answers sections. Also, as a second option, you can access this from your phone using www.menti.com and enter the code 4748220, no spaces. And then that should be able to take you there. Are there any issues bringing any of that up so far? Awesome. So success is a team effort. And being on a winning team, it can be the envy of anyone. Building teams has long been treasured as an amazing skill set of leaders in every type of organization, and especially the professional development organizations and nonprofits, because you guys serve as trusted partners for your members, for their employees, and for the communities. You have a weighty responsibility and ensuring that the right resources are available to ensure the growth, to ensure the fulfillment of purpose, as well as to complete the mission and the charters that on which you were established. Before we go too far along in our conversation, I did want to share a couple of things around me. I mean, if you're going to spend an hour with me, I want to make sure, again, you got to get a sense of who I am, and what my journey has been like along the way, and what brings me to be with you today. I love to learn new things, and I especially love doing reading and research, and then taking that information that I've gathered and turning it into interesting and informative insights that I share with leaders and their team members. On this journey, I've picked up several degrees, certifications, to include certifications as a project management professional, a Lean Six Sigma Black Belt, a professional certified coach, and a Profi certified change management practitioner. I'm a big fan and a byproduct of strong professional development bodies. Last year, I was recognized, and with those came several other byproducts: being affiliated, being mentored, being associated with different professional organizations. Last year, I was recognized as one of the top 20 coaches in Washington, D.C. And this year, I released a book called The Winning Teams Workbook, taking teams from average to extraordinary, to exceptional. And it released and fast became an Amazon #1 release and bestseller earlier this year. But these are more some of the outcomes. I also want to tell you a little bit about the drive behind these achievements. On my professional journey, I've had the opportunity to get lots of experience. I like to say, when you don't get what you want, you get experience. And I am very proud and humbled to share with you today, I've got tons of experience. But with that experience also comes clarity. With every setback, with every failure, with every obstacle, I became clearer around why I needed to continue my journey. I found my why. I exist to support high-performing teams in delivering superior service. I partner with leaders who are solving complex problems. I help them to win on their own terms and by their own time, by their own design. The values that are key and dear to me, and the drive behind the work I do, is acceptance. Always meet people where they're at. Contribution. Everyone has something unique and distinct to contribute. Celebration. Focusing on what's going right, and then making sure we acknowledge that. Innovation. Always find a way. And then collaboration. Strong partnering towards the cause that is mutually beneficial. And before we get too far along with our research and what the latest and greatest is around taking teams, building teams like a pro, I'd like to conduct a real quick mentee pulse check. In the mentee, if you don't mind, if you please share what you think future and current members want from your professional development and nonprofit organizations. Networking opportunities, networking and opportunities for education. Education and networking. All right. Transparency, succession planning. They want to see a place with a vision. Networking. Yes, a place where they can gather. Engaged members. Ooh, you guys must have seen my notes. All right. Any other items? I love it. Inspiration. who doesn't want to go? Yes, it's wonderful to walk into that professional organization and walk out with this amazing sense of clarity and purpose and inspired. The vision that they can get behind. Absolutely. It lights a fire, something about having that vision of the future that everyone can tie to, that hold the space towards. Community. Oh, we are all in this together. Yes. Sometimes my professional organizations have worked as a support group. It's so good to talk with people that you know they are going through the same things. Man, the ability to resource and scale for supporting bigger markets. Yes, yes. Being able to capitalize on and identify and capitalize on future markets and in a game plan around expanding to bigger markets. Awesome. No, great insights. Thanks everyone for sharing. And it also leads us to our main takeaway today. Like, so there's no substitute for knowing what our teams want, what team members are looking for, and allowing that to drive the actions you take, the engagements, the way that you set up and design your organizations. Awesome. Thank you. Question, anyone want to share anything behind these?
Sure, I'll throw something out there. I think you will find, this is what I've seen through PDCHR, is that all of these, are incredibly important. They're all priority one, if you will. More significantly, they're all parts of a circle, or they're all links in a chain. I mean, you can't really survive if any of these are missing or substantially weak. So, yeah. So
Thank you, Mark. Yeah, exactly. Like, there you go. Like, there's no right answers here. That's why I was like, okay, just kind of bring it all together. Think about it. You're consistently, you want to make sure these extraordinary networking opportunities, you want to make sure they're educational. You want there to be transparency. You want there to be inspiring in these, and you want to have that community for these individuals. You also want that vision that connects everyone to elevate their thinking and their to that higher level, to that future state that everyone's working towards. It's definitely not a one, it's complex, it's ever evolving. It's definitely the work of leaders. And so anytime you're talking about winning teams, building teams like a pro, building winning teams, there's the obvious question of, who says we're losing, or what is being lost? And that's where my love of research came in. Some of the losses, they tend to, based on several articles and reports, the losses tend to show up in all the common experience of joining a team, being people feeling still being alone, like somewhere in there, not necessarily feeling that connection. For example, that lack of connection that, in an article by Fast Company, it touted that while social media has made it easier for us to find people's contact details and to connect, it also exposes us to a lot of noise and peddlers, which makes it difficult for us to have genuine business relationships that will be paramount to our professional success. In fact, despite all the chatter, studies show that many of the professional engagements leave participants feeling lonelier. And while the professional development in nonprofits seem to be the answer to finding greater, more meaningful work and professional satisfaction, no one is interested in signing up for stuffy and outdated networking groups. They're very keen on finding good return on investment through their affiliation. Another area, limited and outdated technologies. And another perspective thing that members look at stems from weak technology solutions. They don't support the member, and they don't allow them to touch base with experienced experts and have access outside of in-person events. Like, they want the relationships to go on beyond the sitting at the table. They want to be able to still be able to have real, genuine connections with individuals. Now, more than ever, most critical business challenges are happening in real time, and they require that real-time support. So monthly events may not happen at enough frequency to really support members being able to look for the association and be able to gauge other members and then tap into those expertise outside of different scheduled meetings. Lastly, sometimes there's the absent and low engagement community managers. And these are not necessarily the chief executives or the executives of the organizations. These are the management individuals. These are the individuals who are part of the specific communities of practice and the outreaches. They're the ones that are leading the soirees and the mixers. Like, this person is responsible for making everyone's experience exceptional. And sometimes, these individuals may not even be aware that that is part of that role. It's one thing to bring people together, but there's an expertise around it. There is a hosting, there is a engagement aspect to getting people together and then getting the right folks together for different, maybe breakout events that specifically allow them those opportunities to engage at that deeper level. Prospective members, they look to these community managers. This is the individual who holds the responsibility for making their experiences worthwhile. They have savvy potentials. They're always going to be accessing the expertise and the commitment of these individuals towards bringing people together in a space where marvelous things can happen, where moments that matter can take place. And let's be clear, this does not just pertain to professional development organizations. Nonprofits live in this space too, especially because your organizations tend to attract people who are looking to be part of something greater than themselves. They're looking for something that is more significant than your average 9 to 5. Just a quick check-in, like, how much of this are you seeing and experiencing within your organizations or within other organizations you've come across? Could you acknowledge by raising your hand? All right, I see a couple. Like,
gosh, I want to hear from somebody who's got one of these perfect organizations that doesn't have any of these losses going on. By my count, there's 10 people here who are living in that perfect world. We got to get them to share something too, Kai.
Thanks, Mark. Thanks, Mark. And that's the thing. Like, I mean, one of the opportunities I've had over the last couple of months in sharing presentations has been around being able to talk with different organizations, nonprofits, professional developments, and even leaders within those organizations, talking about the different things and challenges that they face and encounter. Everything from Great Resignation. Those things affect our professional development groups. How are we evolving to help people as they transition, as they try to find more meaning, as they search for greater balance? Like, how are offerings changing to meet that desire, to meet that trend, which has been going on for almost 2 years now? Like, this has been I did research for another group around this Great Resignation being pretty much the highest level of resignations or people moving jobs, shifting jobs since 2002, when the Department of Labor bureaus first started taking track of this statistic. So October of last year was the highest. The numbers were continuing to grow. Almost 4.4 million people a month were being reported as changing jobs, moving on to something else, leaving, walking away, specifically around areas related to not feeling respected, not feeling that there was a path for them, and not feeling like there was the flexibility to be able to pattern and design their lives so that they could respond to all of the things that were occurring, to include the pandemic, to include different family changes, to include the desire for greater, finding more meaning in their work and in their lives. So when you think about those things, there's also, what does winning look like? And when you think about that, it's like, the trends that I noticed in doing this, looking at different organizations and research, was there was a high support and empowerment from both the leaders and the technology. For example, winning members and employees this winning over of employees and members often looks like events that help members forge meaningful relationships that last beyond the event itself. They create a space for members to become friends and nurture strong collaborations and relationships. One example was Baby Bathwater Institute. It's an organization for entrepreneurs whose members can choose to go on trips like skiing and snowboarding, or they can partake in low-key activities such as panels and workshops. Another club, the 747 Club, they invite members to partake in a dinner night where they are responsible for setting up all of the different arrangements. The members come in, they prep the food, they set the table, they participate in the cleanup. And when you introduce that type of interaction in an event, people become much more than just attendees. The shared tasks provide icebreakers for more in-depth conversations later in the evening. It allows the participants to get to know each other on a different level. And while these particular interactions are face-to-face, hosting virtual game nights, hosting professional trivia challenges, and even virtual team building events where you just get to know each other and maybe have people send childhood pictures before and doing a challenge around like, guess whose desk this is, or guess who this person grew up to be, is a great way to bring members together in fun and engaging ways and allow them to get to know each other beyond just professional accolades. And speaking on that front, there's the importance of having the platforms that empower engagement and easy access to members, and allows those members to easily access experts, advocates, champions, and sponsors. An article published by Springcar in the spring of this year by Sidecar staff urges that we understand the different platforms that future members are going to be using and what's important to them. We want to be looking at what this next generation of leaders and professionals find important. We want to know where they're organizing. We want to know where they can be found, where they're socializing. This looks especially true when you're talking about young professionals, and also that may be considering joining, but if we're not where they are, they'll never even hear of the opportunities and the great benefits that our organizations can provide to them. And then again, this goes to that servant leader, that person that has that genuine care for what individuals are looking for. They're becoming more and more sought out as a leadership style because it really resonates with professional association members and nonprofit members. Servant leaders, they seek to provide environments, means, and resources to successfully achieve individual, organizational, and leadership and team goals. Their level of commitment is met by those individuals, and it results in a covenant that's created where there's trust that these members will continue to be assets of the organization and also reap the benefits. This leader can count on these members for recruitment. As they grow, they will help and develop others. They become partners. One of the groups that actually stands out has been touted as a great example of this is Project Management Institute, as well as International Coach Federation. They've taken the means to hiring staff in positions specifically detailed around helping members connect the dots between their goals, the organization's objectives, and also activities and the services that will connect them. So as we go through these, a theme emerges around what people are experiencing within their interactions with organizations, nonprofits. Those members, there's an above the line experience and there's almost a below the line experience. Those members that have below the line experience find themselves isolated. They may feel like there's technologies that they may find themselves frustrated because the technologies don't work at the speed of business, and they're absent in disengaged leadership that doesn't have the time, inclination, or sometimes just the availability to really support their growth and goals. On the other hand, you have members enjoying an above the line experience where they participate in these custom designed engagements. They make true deep connections. They have social platforms that grant them access to experts and a community that is involved and passionate about their mission. And most importantly, they have a community leader, a servant leader that has all they need to support, that provides them with all they need to support their individual goals so that they reap the greatest return on investment for their time. And so one of the things around building these teams is you kind of see there's two aspects. There's the aspect of looking at the different team members, the potential future team members as members of coming on board a team so that it's a partnership. It's not just a group of professionals. It's more of a team that's supporting the community of practice, that's supporting the communities and societies that they're part of. There's also the group of individuals that you start off with, that you're sitting around the table with, the decision makers of these organizations, the nonprofit board of directors, your senior leaders within the professional development of groups. And each one of these groups can find opportunities where they would love to better engage with their and enlist team members. They want to be able to clarify, what is their brand of organization? What's their leadership styles? What are the best strengths of that organization and what they offer to current members and future members? Is your goal, is your strength developing members in transition? Is it being able to get people, an audience with the people that can make hiring decisions? Where is it being able to make those, be a concierge for those moments that are of connection? In all of this, And even in the midst of this, like all of this begins with the individual. And right now, I'd like to share a little bit about kind of my individual journey, where it kind of brought me here.
Hi, I'm Dr. Kai. There I was in my car, crying in the parking lot. I had just left the office of my boss, having failed to deliver on yet another assignment. He told me, "Kai, if you can't do what I'm asking you to do, then maybe this isn't the place for you." Up until this point, my path had been the stuff of legend. I'd received countless promotions, recognitions. I was the youngest person in that organization's history to be selected for my position. And I was winning until I wasn't. I immediately went to work analyzing. What's wrong here? I started reading every book I could find around performance. I started paying close attention to my colleagues who were getting results. I quickly identified the colossal gap between the individual hard work I had been doing that had gotten me to this point and what was needed now. Everything requires the cooperation of others. Nothing of significance happens outside of a team. So I started reading several books a week on leadership, communications, negotiations. I joined Toastmasters. I took additional writing courses at the community college, even though I was finishing up my master's degree. I sought out mentors and colleagues who showed uncommon skill in engaging people. I established a team to help me get better at leading teams. What started off as a personal desire to be a better enabler of teams evolved into my life's work. Today I spend every day working with leaders who are changing the world and leading and empowering teams. I help teams to get to the heart of what's keeping them from their best outcomes and peak performance. We come together to work through challenges, partner more effectively, and experience work life that is full of impact, highly innovative, and something they can lend their full selves towards.
Yeah, so that is a little bit of my story. And also it's the drive behind the work and the passion behind what I do today. When it really occurred to me, that was early on that, gosh, nothing of significance occurs outside of a team. In order to do these things that we mentioned, like, leverage technologies, identify those individuals that can create and engage members and be that servant leader to foster success within the group and organizations. Also, being able to connect with individuals and see exactly what it is that they need so that they feel like they're receiving value, so they feel like they're connected. It's highly important. It started off as an external look. One of the key things I learned throughout my journey is there you go. One of the key things I learned throughout my journey is that the only thing I can change is myself. Early on, I did a lot to try to change the teams. I tried to change my organization. I even tried to change my peers and bosses. But I only experienced real success when I focused on changing. And when I say changing, I mean changing to a spirit of being more open, to evolving, to adapting, to learning. And it made all the difference. I want to read this out loud. I want you to soak it all in. It is my story in a nutshell. Like when I was young, I wanted to change the world. I found it was difficult to change the world, so I tried to change my nation. When I found I could not change my nation, I began to focus on my town. I could not change my town, and as time went on, I tried to change my family. Today, I realize the only thing I can change is myself. And suddenly, I realized that in changing myself, I have an impact on my family. My family and I could make an impact on our town. The town's impact could indeed change the nation, and we could indeed change the world. So a little bit around my change mission to change the world. As I said before, it starts with me. Then it moves on to others. And that way we get there together, the space where we're all supposed to be together. This winning teams approach spurred from an I win, I make sure you win, we all win philosophy. I was working with a coach, and one of the things that Gilda Stafford, if some of you may know her, and one of the things she shared with me was I was starting a project with her, we're working in a shipyard, was, she said to me and a couple of other new team members, like, hey, I want this project, I want you guys to win so bad I can taste it. She's like, I work with a philosophy of I win. And then she just kind of let that sink in and said, I'm gonna win, but I make sure you win. And that way we all win. And when she meant that, she meant the entire organization. And when she said that, it really resonated because it made, number one, I win. Like, you knew you were working with a professional. You knew you were working with someone that could take you to the next level. The I make sure you win means that they also care about your success, about your win on your terms, not on their terms. And therefore, with that spirit, with that engagement, with that partnering, the entire organization benefits. I'm talking to this audience. I know for a fact, none of you woke up to be the successes you are today by coincidences. You are winning. You are looking at what's next within your organization. You've made the sacrifices. You've built yourself up. You've done the adaptation. You've made the learning journey. You're there. Next levels are making sure others win. Like, not that you lose, but making sure that your win doesn't come at an expense to them and that your win doesn't even count unless they win. That makes the game even more complex, even more challenging, and makes you a better leader, makes you a better thought leader, encourager of people, builder of cultures. And that way, within those partnerships, within that spirit of collaboration, the entire organization moves forward. And so we're going to go a little bit further into this, like this I win philosophy. And so I love this picture, especially the caption piece around Dr. Dre, professional winner. When I say win, it's not bragging. To me, I consider it a qualifier because let's be honest, who wants to be with someone who's not winning? Who wants to follow someone who's not winning? And how can you truly help others when you're not winning? Being with someone that you know is winning just feels different. And again, we're not putting a definition on what winning looks like. Being with someone who's making major professional achievements, or even someone who's learned to master balance or learn to master themselves and be true to their value systems. That's winning. You define the win on your own terms, by your own design. There's a confidence And there's a conviction with this individual that doesn't waver, even when times get tough. And it's that confidence and conviction that helps others to be able to take courage and continue to progress until the evidence of the win becomes more apparent. Leaders must know who they are in all circumstances. They must be in tune with their purpose for being. One does not need to know all of the details of what the future holds if they are confident in the knowledge of who they are and how their values factor into whatever unpredictable future develops. I Win is comprised of the sections of professional development, personal development, coaching, values and ethics, and leaders communication. And the I Make Sure You Win, I feel like it's extraordinarily powerful in that it challenges and supports leaders and their team members and servant leaders in ensuring that they bring others to the winner's circle with them. I Make Sure You Win is part of what is the part of us that has a easy way of connecting with various groups and types of people across ages, experiences, and competencies. This section includes chapters on leader development, productive partnering, talent management, and ethical intervention and consulting design. Lastly, and this is my favorite slide, by the way, and it's also the cover of my book. I was very intentional about its design. I want people of any age, race, culture, and identity to see themselves on this team with hands clasped and raised, crossing that finish line together and winning. Leaders need to strive every day to deliver that vision to their teams. During our lifetime, there are abundance of occasions in which we are required to work as part of a team, most notably within the workplace. But because of this, organizations are constantly being faced with complex problems and high pressure circumstances. The proper formation of a careful maintenance of a team is crucial to its performance and to its success. So being able to make these things happen is huge. And being able to establish a diverse team with mixed skills and different perspectives and keys that are able to leverage their strengths will give that team the edge that they need to be able to thrive. And as the quote states, through the acts of trust and the ability to see the strategic, leaders demonstrate what it takes to ensure that the next generation of leader and a healthy culture for years to come. And that's where we all win. And because I want you to win, and I want to make sure you win, I want to share this small gift area. It's the GROW model. To me, it's one of those, it allows you to quickly, it provides a framework for you to quickly identify ways to engage different members, to understand what you're looking for in a specific situation. Some of this can be done as self-talk, even if you're not talking with someone else, like just understanding what the goals are you have, what your realities you're facing, the options that are available to you, and then making a decision around the way ahead. It allows you to get into a rhythm of decide, act, results, and then learn, and then go back into decide. It's only with decisions, it's only with that way ahead that you're able to start taking action, learn from those actions, and then incorporate that into a learning cycle where you're taking steps, where you're improving, where you're assessing impacts and evolving and speeding the pace of evolution. So let's say you're working, for example, you're working with a new individual that's coming in, that's interested in joining your professional organization. One of the first things you want to understand is the goals. Oftentimes we assume, gosh, maybe they're actually, as we noted earlier, there are a number of reasons why someone may be joining our organizations or what they're looking for within our organizations. Networking, to some may seem like the obvious choice, but it's not the only one. They could be looking for that sense of connection. They could be looking for mentorship, sponsorship, those champions that we discussed. They could be looking for those unique experiences to gain friends as well as create a social network, a support system. They could be looking for that inspiration. So understanding what their goals are, and then looking at some of the realities. So, okay, here's what let's say their goal was, I really want to be part of these unique experiences that I hear that your organization is promotes, or your education. I hear your education is second to none. I'm looking to learn more and decrease my learning curve as I get up to speed in this profession. I want access to experts. Some of the realities could be, so, all right, I understand that this is what your goals are for this organization. What is your readiness to take your professional acumen to the next level? What is your availability? What is the time investment that you're looking to make? What type of events were you thinking about? What is the technology platform that you tend to access most when you're looking at professional development? So understanding some of those realities with that individuals. We're focusing on making sure that they win and are allowed to create a solution on their own terms and by their own design. Options, like, okay, so based on your goals, based on some of the realities around which we're working with, here's some of the, what are some of the options, that you see for building your professional engagement. Or if you're working within a nonprofit, what is your, what options do you see available as far as the different programs, where you might find your support, or the services that you would love, that you see yourself best fitting into? Again, you're talking them through these things. You're not assuming anything. You're making sure that they win. And then that way ahead discussion is just, okay, based on these options that we discussed, what is one step we'd like to take during this meeting or during this conversation, or what is one commitment that you'd like to make that would take you closer to your goal? Therefore, be able to send in the conversation with a way ahead, with some form of action, with some form of a decision that allows you to take the next steps, get the results, and then continue to incorporate that. And then just continuously keeping that type of discussion pattern going, where it's about developing them as they develop themselves. Like, you're helping them to cultivate a thinking around how they're engaging, what they're looking to achieve by working within your professional development organization, as well as, or whether they're working within your nonprofit. And this is just one coaching conversation hack. Hopefully you find it useful. There will be a copy available along with some of the questions. For the sake of the PowerPoint, we just kept it as goals and realities, but in the handout, you will receive some of those questions specific to a potential conversation you may want to have in the future. And with that concludes our presentation. And now it's time to turn to the fun stuff. Here's your chance to win some winning team swag. So here we have, from right to left, top to bottom, we've got your stainless steel tumblers. with my winning team's logo and motto, I make sure you win. We have travel mugs with a picture of the winning team's workbook, as well as the motto. We also have t-shirts. And of course, you can also receive your very own autographed copy of the winning team's workbook, which is certain to skyrocket in years to come. The value is just going to go off the charts, promise you. And so some of the instructions, we're going to have a winning team's trivia challenge. You'll be able to select from 3 possible answers, and the top 3 winners will have their choice of winning team swag. So one of the things, after we conclude the meeting, I am going to get the names and the emails of the individuals who win, because I want to make sure that you get your winning team swag soonest. So is everyone ready? All right. All right. Okay. Everyone's in there. Outstanding. Okay. I'm going to give a couple more seconds if anyone else wants to join. Just as a reminder, you can go to it's across the very top here, www.menti.com, and use the code 4748220.
This is also in the chat box, and,
Oh, perfect.
and just for all you who are still fully engaged here, I'm not playing because I played this once and I just devastated the field. So Kelly has asked me to retire from this one. So now y'all got a chance.
Thanks so much, Mark. And yes, he did. Annihilation. I think if there was a jersey, we'd be retiring it. We retired. So, but today is the chance for somebody else. We might be retiring another jersey. So, all right, I'm going to begin here. And also you get points for being able to answer it the fastest. I make sure you win means. All right. Okay. Wow. There you go. Everybody's paid. That's what I'm talking about. My win doesn't count unless you win. Absolutely. Outstanding. Let's see how we did. All right. We got Anna in the front. We got Sarita coming up on the end. We got TJ. All right. In there. All right. But it's not over, folks. It's not over. Here we are. Question number 2. From we can change the world. Today I realized the only thing I can change is. All right, let's see. Myself. All right, hey, you know what? I appreciate that's engagement. That's what I'm talking about. Hopefully you're having a little fun there too. Ooh, all right. I think Sarita, what do we? Okay, all right. Oh boy, this thing is getting close. All right, I see you, Barbara. All right, our last question. And also you get points for quick answers. We all win consists of the components: strategic leadership, organizational design, leader analytics, and definitely one of the harder ones. All right. Oh boy. Okay. Global concern. Got you. I could have covered that one better. Thank you. So let's see how we do. All right. Okay. Anna, congratulations. Congratulations. And I also see Sarita McCoy Gregory and Barbara. You guys are the top 3. So we've got Anna, Sarita, and Barbara. Please do send me your direct notes in the chat. I'll make sure that you get your winning team swag. I will shoot you an email and let you know and get your selections. So congratulations. That was amazing fun. I appreciate everyone for your participation in that. And then also good feedback on, gosh, the questions and how we covered everything. As we wrap up, again, I want to make sure we turn in the top 3 takeaways. The team members want connection. They want collaboration, and they want you to care about what they want, about what they're trying to do, and be there to support it. Change starts with myself. It's all centers around us. Whatever we do, whatever we say, we model that behavior. Another quote, be the change you want to see in the world, also resonates highly with me. And then lastly, I win. I make sure you win. And that way we all win. Here are some of the references that I used for preparing my presentation today. So please, it'll be PDF, so you'll be able to click on the link and find those different locations. That Baby Bathwater Institute and 746 Clubs, they were pretty interesting, as well as that Declining Membership Professional Organizations and What You Can Do About It. That was by Wild Apricot. And then those 3 considerations, that was by Fast Company. The 3 things to consider before a professional association by Fast Company was really insightful. So at this point, I would love to invite your questions. What are you still curious about? And how can I help?
Well, Kai, as you well know, because you presented a lot, this is the moment where most of the participants stare at their virtual feet while they're trying to come up with a cool question. I'm not bothered by that. I'll just ask stupid questions. But first off, I do want to thank Kai very much for sharing her expertise and experience here. PDCHR doesn't espouse or give thumbs up to anything, but I personally really enjoyed the book, the Winning Teams Workbook. I went into. I mean, I really wish I had more pictures I could color in, but other than that, super helpful aid. But I had a couple questions or observations. And first, I want to ask everybody just hang out a little bit. We do have some closeout stuff for you. In fact, Kai, can we stop sharing your screen for a second?
Absolutely, yes.
Let's do that. Thank you very much. And I'm dropping into the chat box a bunch of things I'd like you to do, but all I want you to do right now is click on all those links, open up tabs and other windows, and come right back here. Don't start anything. Don't do anything with those. Just go ahead and open those links. So while you're doing that, Kai, there were a couple of things that I just wanted to, at least share out again, maybe. I loved a couple of these things. When you don't get what you want, you get experience. So that's pretty awesome. I don't know that I've heard that before, but by God, I've felt it before. There's one thing here, especially for my folks who are coming from membership associations, and really appreciate the kind of the turn you put on this to make sure that a lot of this was directly applicable to my constituency, as it were. You didn't use the phrase membership Sherpa, but I heard you talking about that, making sure that the members are aware of the services available to them, that connecting the dots, if you will, even within an organization, especially for a new person or even someone who's been around for a while. Like, I had no idea we could, or that you did, or I was expected to, stuff like that. So I'm trying to figure out where that's going to fit in our curriculum. Anyways. The one about, and of course, I don't think any presentation goes by in any setting where we don't ask a question about, well, how do we connect with millennials, or something.
Oh, boy.
But the key element about there is meeting people where they are. Not
Abs-
sticking within, he's just sticking with, like nobody buys newspaper ads anymore. You know why? Because nobody looks at them, right? So that's not where
Mhm.
people are. So that was pretty, that was really cool. And the one other big takeaways was it's that second phase that make sure you win. That's what I really like about that is the to anyways, it draws on your personal commitment, right? You are putting your own credibility and your own resources and your own time and whatever on the line when you say, I'm going to help you win. I mean, that's huge, on the route to making sure that we all win. So that's just a couple of things that, I wanted to share. But I do want to, stop hogging the floor here, as it were, and invite anybody else to ask questions of Kai, at this point.
Yeah.
If you've come on camera, that's nice. It's almost like eye contact.
Also, I'm this forum can be a space where, again, I've got, I've shared a couple of my experiences, but ultimately this forum is here for shared learning, shared experiences. So we're all of us is much smarter than any one of us. So like, please feel free to share if something resonated with you, like Mark shared.
So Kai, I was gonna ask more about like in the recruiting process, how to be the most transparent. This is the kind of environment without sounding cringy to individuals. Because when people tell me, oh, we're a family organization, I take that with a grain of salt because sometimes people abuse their family members. But how do you really portray that you are that type of leader as you're going through the process without coming off cringy?
All right. No, I think one of the biggest parts is really that grow model. I tell you, because again, they kind of have, if they've showed up, if they're, initiating the conversation, they know a bit about your organization. So you understanding a bit around what they're looking for, because again, it could be the family, or, maybe they had it. You're right. Like different people associate different things when you say family. I will tell you, it depends on what day it is sometimes, what that means, what they mean to me. So, seeing what it is that brought them to this discussion, what it is they're looking for right now in their career, where are they at within their, if it's a nonprofit, where are they at in their volunteerism goals? And so from there, then aligning where, okay, yes, if you're looking for connection, if you're looking for a way to give back in a social environment of people with like minds, let me tell you a little bit about our group, our family here. And, we've got all flavors of personality. We've got several subject matter experts. We got very passionate people, and we embrace the diversity of those insights, experiences, and perspectives. Thank you, Anna. I see Sarita has her hand up.
Hello. I'm sorry, I'm at work, so I have my mask on. How are you?
I'm doing amazing. How's your day going?
It's going well. I really enjoyed your presentation. Thank you so much. I wanted to ask about, well, I didn't raise my hand when you asked who has problems or whatever, but I'm wondering how do you correct a team that has kind of gone off course? What recommendations do you have to pull them back into asset and affirmative way of kind of moving forward?
All right. Can you give an example of the kind of off track? Like, what does that look like in your organization or in the example?
Well, I think a good example might be just communication, just a team that's being kind of tossed together with some new people that have just joined. It's not a membership, but as part of the organization, a team has been formed. And there's some communication that's a little bit off between the leadership and the team members. And so I wonder if you can just speak to ways that can be course corrected.
All right, there's a couple of suggestions I would have. Is like number one, really getting a sense of where that team sees themselves as far as, you know, what they see is getting in the way of their communications. Also, another aspect, if you don't want to kind of go that direct route with that group, is establishing team agreements. Having them come up with amongst themselves, what are the things that are most important to us as a team? What are the things that we agree on? Another aspect is making sure that that vision is front and center. I will tell you, one of the things I work with recent engagements is communication, collaboration, and how we treat each other. Tend to be three major terms. And the communication usually is around making sure that we're aligned to the strategy, to the bigger picture. And like that allows people to kind of elevate from their personal behaviors, politics, and personalities to that bigger thing that we're all here to do. And also, you know, making sure that it's clear what it is we're here to do. Like there should be deliverables and some type of timeline on when these things are occurring. Sometimes when teams are given the luxury of like too much just free time, if they're not fully developed, they may take that as an opportunity to kind of point out different things that are the distractions. They get involved in distracting behavior. So making sure that it's very clear around the vision, team agreements, and then also making sure that there's set criteria for success. Like, here's the things that we need from you, from this group of professionals, and you're going to be held accountable to deliver on it. So keeps them focused. Thank you.
Hey, do you mind if I jump in on something there?
Yes.
So I just dropped in the chat box. You've probably all heard this, the forming, storming, norming, performing. You're talking about how
Yes.
groups develop. One of the things I've found with this, I was talking to actually one of our presenters for our upcoming symposium, we'll be talking about this, is this is not a straight line. This is a cycle for groups. So we say a group forms, and then there's this kind of mental image, if you buy into this forming, storming, norming, performing thing, that it's like, oh, well, if we just wait long enough, we'll move along to that next stage. And absolutely not. I think it does need that leadership and the guidance and being engaged to make sure that we move through those places, if you will, in a timely fashion, spend the right amount of time in them, but also be aware that it's pretty easy to roll from performing right back into forming, and it's not necessarily because new people have shown up. It's because environment has changed, burnout, all these other things. So that team, whether or not the faces are changing, the team is still changing continuously. So there is definitely a call for constantly reworking what it means for this team to be a winning team, if you will.
And that's another aspect, especially with that Tuckman's model, is while it's doing the forming, storming, and norming, and like you said, it's not, because ultimately, like whenever there's a new team member or a new leader, all of that can send your team back into that forming stage. So there's new responsibilities, there's new personalities, there's new expectations. It could be fiscal constraints. It could be any number of things, a new regulation, a new change management initiative. All of those things could get you into that cycle, which kind of brings me to another area, is consistent times, taking a moment with your team to kind of reflect on how things are going. We call it within our Agile framework, a retrospective of sorts. And this is asking the questions, 3 questions, what's working, what's not working, and what's in the way, or even something as simple as, what do we start doing? What do we stop doing? What do we continue doing? And just asking that maybe every couple of weeks around, okay, so how are we doing so far? Have we held ourselves accountable to these agreements? Have we met the mission requirements for our organization? So having a steady balance of that will allow them to learn and evolve more quickly. Any other questions? Any other shares? Awesome.
This is Anna again, and I just wanted to say thank you. We're working on a board development strategy coming out of, post-COVID. And so this was just good to reconfirm some of the things that I have in the works. So thank you very much.
Thank you. That sounds exciting. Best of all of that. All the best within that initiative.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
Kai, I think this is very good information for all association members and people that are part of associations as well, especially those that we can give those suggestions to. So thank you for giving us this information.
Thank you, Deanie. Thank you. I know those events, actually, when I was still looking through that part, like that was it was like, oh yeah, there you go. Those are definitely things that people are looking for, connections that
Right.
Yeah, are unique.
Yep.
All right. So last call, any questions for Kai or for me? Well, if not, let's go ahead and we'll declare victory here. I know we promised or we threatened that this would be go until 1:30, but there is nothing better to give than the gift of time. So I already threw those links in there, and I know that I see that a couple of people have clicked on them, and thank you for that. So those are just the upcoming events and an opportunity for a little survey on today. Really interested in learning. What did you pick? Not even so much. Did you pick up what you needed to know? Did you pick up some stuff about that'll motivate you to try what you heard today? And did you pick up some things that'll help you overcome the inevitable obstacles that reside back at your organization? In a couple weeks, we've got it's a Saturday seminar, which is a little weird thing for us, except we're doing more of those. We're inviting some folks from the local chapter of the American Society for Quality to say, all right, what in your professional toolkit is handy for leading groups, right? What have you learned, not only from leading your group, but the tools from your profession? So we had a really successful one from the project management folks a couple weeks ago. So pretty excited about that. And then coming up, just looking ahead, and you've got the link there for events for everything we've got published. We do have in October and September, September and October, not necessarily in that order. We have more of our Wednesday series here on the second Wednesdays, and also in the end of October we tried to bring back our symposium. It's the only thing we charge for during the whole year, but it's a Thursday night, Friday night, and Saturday day. We'll be talking about topics like we did today, broad leadership skills, and again, tuned somewhat to membership associations, but certainly helpful for anybody. So I'd like to, consider that as you go along. And of course, now that you showed up, you're on my email list, and you'll get swamped with all these opportunities until you opt out, right? So that happens. So I think that's it for today. Again, thank you all for giving of your time and all you for being community leaders. It's a tough job, generally sucks. If you're a nonprofit, a traditional nonprofit organization, at least you get miserable pay for it. For those of you who are looking at this from a membership association thing, it sucks even harder because we don't get paid for that at all. But what the heck? We believe in community leadership. We believe in elevating our community. And I believe that all of us here are always welcome to stop in and find an opportunity to learn how to lead smarter, not harder. Wow, that sounded pretty conclusive. All right, last call. Anybody? All
Thanks,
right.
everyone. This was a blast. I thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome. All right, thanks all. I'm going to turn on some music and stuff like that. You are welcome to move about the country. Well, good to see you again, buddy. Deanie, thanks for stopping in. Very good to see you. Anna, nice to see you again. Barbara, good to see your name again. Gerald, I don't know you, but I suspect there's a connection there, and I know the guy in the corner who's running the monitors. With that, we're going to declare victory. I'm going to play some music, and then we'll time out. Kai, if you want to hang out a little bit, that's fine. You are
Yes.
evacuated as well. Bye all.